हरे कृष्णा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गौर प्रेमानंदे। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अष्टोत्तर 61 ग्रेस अभय चरण भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत पुराण की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Nithai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 54, Text 47. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Srimad Bhagavatam, canto 10, chapter 54, verse 47. Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you to Kishore Kishori Srimad Bhagavatam class. I'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita because today's verse it says about body, soul, and self, and how to become free from the cycle of birth and death. So, yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam. Janma adhaya tu dehasya Janma adhaya tu dehasya Vikriyana atmana kvachit Vikriyana atmana kvachit Kalanam eva indo Kalanam eva indo Mrittihi asya kahu eva Mrittihi asya kahu eva Janma adaya tu dehasya Vikriyana atmana kvachit Kalanam eva indo Mrittihi asya kaho eva. Hare Krishna. Please go ahead. Janma dayatu dehasya Vikriyana atmana kvachit Kalanam eva indo. Janmadyasya tu dehasya Vikriya atmatmana kvachit Kalanami vanevendur Mrittirhi asya kuriva. Anyone else? Mataji side. Janmadayastu dehasya Vikriyana atmana kvachit Kalanami vanevendur Mrittirhi asya kuhuriva. Word to word meaning. Janma adaya, birth and so on. Tu, but. Dehasya, of the body. Vikriya, transformations. Na, not. Atmana, of the self. Kvachit, ever. Kalanam, of the faces. Eva, as. Na, not. Eva, indeed. Indo, of the moon. Mritti, the death. He, indeed. Asya, of it. Kaho, the new moon day. Eva, as. Translation. Birth and other transformations are undergone by the body, but never by the self. Just as change occurs for the moon's phases, but never for the moon, through the new moon day may be called the moon's death. Purport. Lord Balram here explains how the conditioned souls identify with the body and how this identification should be given up. Certainly, every ordinary person considers himself or herself young, middle-aged or old, healthy or sick. But such identification is an illusion. Just as the waxing and waning of the moon is an illusion, when we identify ourselves with the material body, we lose our power to understand the soul. Hare Krishna. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Shah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this the chapter is the marriage of Krishna and Rukmini. This is the beautiful pastimes of Lord Krishna getting married to Rukmini. And so in short, it goes like, I'll explain this. Srimad Bhagavatam, it says like, Rukmini heard about Krishna through the sages who were visiting the kingdom. And she was attracted to Krishna just by hearing about Krishna. So one has to hear about Krishna, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So everything begins of hearing. One has to hear about Krishna very attentively. That's the basis of our spiritual life. Like, hearing is very important. Especially when we chant, especially in this age, it's recommended chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here especially Rukmini heard about Krishna and she was attracted to Krishna. And Krishna, she sent a messenger to a Brahmana that my marriage is being arranged to Shishipal because my brother Rukmi was envious of Krishna. So the messenger approached Krishna and the Krishna welcomed the Brahmana. He gave him he got up from his golden seat. He offered his respects to the Brahmana. He gave him nice foodstuffs, nice charity, nice cloths, ornaments. In this way he honored the Brahmana. So this thing first is heard about Brahma. She heard about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, and then how to honor a devotee of the Lord, a representative of God. Because spiritual life, when we render service to the Lord, one has to be very careful. One should always pray for the mercy of the Lord and His representatives, that he doesn't commit any offenses to any other representative. He should be very humble and he should have a very service attitude. So we can learn from Krishna about this second thing. And then all the residents of Dwarka, they were very happy. Even the residents of Kundina, where Rukmini, they heard that Krishna is going to marry Rukmini, and they were offering all their pious deeds so that Krishna get married to Rukmini. And Shishupal, along with all the opponents, Jarsanda, they all got together, and they did not want, Krishna informed the Brahmana that I will come and kidnap Rukmini. So because Rukmini was to go to Ambika, that because there's a culture that they used to go visit the temple before the marriage ceremony, and she sent in the letter that before the marriage day, on the day, she will be going to, and Krishna should come and kidnap her. So all the opponents, they were envious that if Krishna comes, they will give you good lessons. But Krishna, then Balram also heard that Krishna is all alone, and the opponents, he along with the Yadu, he went and faced the opponents. In this way, he destroyed all the opponents. He killed each. The opponents were throwing arrows, and whatever they were destroyed by the Yadus. And Rukmini was concerned, though Krishna just glanced over her and then told, in a short while, they all will be defeated, the opponents. So Jatsan, and then they convinced Shishupal that it's all destiny, it's a matter of time that will come again and defeat Krishna. He himself, Jatsan, he says that I was defeated 17 times, but the 17th time I became victorious. In this way, they all left Rukmi, and Rukmi then he became very furious, and he climbed a chariot, and along with his soldiers he went to attack Krishna and the Yadus. But then he all alone got down from the chariot and was about to attack Krishna with the swords. And whatever he picked up, Krishna broke all the bows, his chariots, his flags. And Rukmi was captured by Krishna, and Krishna just cut off his hair in different parts. In this way, he disfigured Rukmi. And then Krishna brought Rukmi to Dwarka and married Krishna. But Rukmi was disfigured, and Balarama was convincing Krishna that after all, he is a relative, please forgive him. So Lord Krishna, instead of killing him, he just disfigured him in different places. He disfigured his hairs, mustache in different places. So it was just like killing him. Then Balarama was convincing Rukmini, because Rukmini was attached to, because after all he was a brother. Rukmi was the brother of Rukmini. Then, so this is what is the description going on here. Balarama is saying to Rukmini. He is saying about the material body, which has a beginning and end, is composed of the physical elements, the senses and the modes of nature. The body imposed on the self by material ignorance causes one to experience the cycle of birth and death. So this material body is the source of all trouble. Because we have this body, we go, because it's made of material elements. Material body, which has a beginning and end. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Jatasya dhruva mrityu. Anyone who is born, he is sure to die. And after death, he is sure to be born again, like that. The material body, which has beginning and end, so similarly this also verse is that, is composed of the physical elements, the senses and the modes of nature. The body imposed on the self by material ignorance causes one to experience the cycle of birth and death. The body imposed on the self by material ignorance causes one to experience the cycle of birth and death. So the body changes, the soul is eternal. So we will be going through Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, what Krishna speaks. You are all aware of that. But since this title is about the soul and the body, we will be touching on that. Oh intelligent lady, the soul never undergoes contact with or separation for insubstantial material objects, because the soul is the very original illuminator. The soul resembles the sun, which neither comes in contact with nor separates from the senses of sight what is seen. Birth and other transformations are undergone by the body, but never by the self. Just as change occurs for the moon phases, but never for the moon, though the new moon may be called the moon's death. Lord Balarama here explains how the conditioned souls identify with the body and how this identification should be given up. Certainly, every ordinary person considers himself or herself young, middle-aged or old, healthy or sick. But such identification is an illusion. So whatever this body everybody has a body, and according, Krishna says in the Bhagavad that according to their activities, they get a body. Suppose one is born in a very, very wealthy family, or is very beautiful, or very knowledge, or cat body, dog body, or worm body, whatever type of body, he gets according to his actions. So this are good activities, the results of good activities, whereas the opposite is impious activities. The results of impious activities opposite. But both are temporary. And Krishna, as the super soul, he is within everyone's heart like that. And he directs the living entity in different bodies here. So Krishna says, after bahunam janmante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvamiti sahamatma sudurlabha. After many, many births, one comes in knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality God. Such a great soul is very rare like that. And finally Krishna says, sarva dharman parityagya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami masucha. Abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. Because actually religion is Bhagavad Dharma, that's the topmost. The so-called religion is just based on, it's all kicked out in Bhagavatam, it's all Kaitava, it's called cheating religion actually. It's based on the bodily conception of life. But actually Bhagavad Dharma means to become free from enviousness. That is Bhagavad Dharma. That is what actually a devotee means actually, is to become free from this. So this here Balarama is explaining different examples. He giving the example of the body and the soul. He says, Lord purport, it says, birth, in the translation, birth and other transformations are undergone by the body. So like Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, anyone is born sure to die. Because the body is made of material components. The body is moving because of the presence of the soul. As long the soul is there, the body is there. As the soul is gone from the body, it accepts a different body. Because the mind, intelligence and ego carries us according to our consciousness. So the body is temporary, the soul is eternal, and soul is part and parcel of Krishna, like that. We are eternal, related to Krishna, and our eternal relationship with Krishna is to render service to Lord Krishna. Jivere Swarup hoy Nitya Krishna Das. We are all eternal, part and parcel of Krishna. Any amount of material happiness cannot give us happiness, because we designate something which we are not. We are spirit souls. Right? Birth and other transformations are undergone by the body, but never by the self. Just as change occurs for the moon phases, but never for the moon. Though the new moon day may be called the moon's death. So here the example is given with the moon like that. Birth and other transformations are undergone by the body, but never by the self. So everybody has a realization. Suppose we pinch ourselves, we don't say this Indian pain, Russian pain, that's pain is pain. Actually we are spirit souls. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us that we are not this material body, we are part and parcel, we are a soul, minute soul within the body. And soul is spiritual. So it says, birth and other transformation by body, but never by the self. So one has to rise up from this bodily conception of life. So one has to become Krishna consciousness. That's what Krishna consciousness is, to become free from designation of bodily conception of life. So that's why Bhagavad Dharma means to become free from enemies like that. Actually Bhagavad Dharma means. Actually we have to fix our mind in Krishna, our senses in Krishna. Krishna's name is Master, he is the master of the senses. So changes occurs for the moon phase but never for the moon. So Lord Balaram here explains how the conditioned souls identify with the body and how this identification should be given up. Certainly every ordinary person considers himself or herself young, middle age or old. So everybody wants to become the center like that. Like yesterday, His Holiness Radhanand Maharaj was mentioning that we should aspire for the eternal devotional service. We are not go for after name, fame. So similarly here also it says, Lord here explains how the conditioned souls identify with the body and how this identification should be given up. Certainly every ordinary person considers himself or herself young, middle-aged or old, healthy or sick. Suppose one is very healthy, but he has to go through these changes. He has to go through birth, old age, disease and death, like that. Certainly every ordinary person himself young, because everybody wants to become the center. Especially when in young, everybody wants to become the center. He is the master, he is the enjoy, he is the proprietor. Because we forgot Krishna, because we were envious of Krishna, we want to become like Krishna in this material world. But we are all eternal part and parcel of Krishna. But such identification is illusion. Just as waxing and waning the moon is an illusion. When we identify ourselves with the material body, we lose our power to understand the soul. So the more one becomes bodily conception, it says here, we identify ourselves with the material body, we lose our power to understand the soul. We come far away from Krishna consciousness, like that. The more we are in bodily conception of life. Krishna says in the Bhagavad, like it says, a person is fortified by Krishna and the spiritual master. And Krishna gives you the weapon, and the spiritual master sharpens it, the weapon of knowledge. So Krishna is giving the weapon of knowledge, and the spiritual master is sharpening it, the weapon of knowledge. And that way we can cut free from material bondage. If you want to get out of this ignorance, then we have to take the knowledge from the scriptures. That's what it says, Bahunam janmante jnanam prapadyanti vasudeva sarvamiti samata. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvata tektva deham punarjanma neti mameti utsu Arjuna. One has to understand the pastimes of Krishna. One has to understand the science of Krishna consciousness from the scriptures. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Natvo eham jatu nasham natvam nemi janadipa nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam ataparam. My dear Arjuna, don't think that you, me and the kings and soldiers who assembled on the battlefield, they were not existing before or they will not existing after that. Eternally. They are all souls. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna in many ways that we are not this body, we are souls in the second chapter. Arjuna was very attached to his family members, his friends, relatives. He was not ready to kill them because he was more on the bodily conception of life. And then Krishna reveals him this Bhagavad Gita about knowledge. Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. So that's the bottom. One has to surrender to the Lord. Like that. The soul being engaged in the body appears that the soul is changing or dying or taking birth. But the birth is taking place on the body. The soul is carried by the subtle mind, intelligence and ego. This is a very nice statement. The soul, first Krishna says that, my dear Arjuna, you, me and the king and soldiers who assembled, they were not existing before, or they will not be existing before, or they will not exist after. That means eternally they are souls. So we are eternal souls. We have taken many lives, many lives. We are going different phases of life. That's the body. It says, so we assembled, they were not existing before. Similarly, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. We have assembled on the battlefield. They were not existing before, or they will be not existing after. That means eternally they are all souls. Don't think like that. So generally our mind wanders. Like suppose I am speaking from Bhagavad Gita. Everybody have a different view. It's the nature of the mind. Right? We all have 4 defects. We commit mistakes. We have cheating. A conditioned soul has commit mistakes, cheating propensities. Senses are imperfect and illusions. So nobody is perfect. What to say of when in this age of Kali Yuga? But it's the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can discuss from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. I feel myself not so qualified, but by all your blessings of devotee, I would like to. I'm just repeating it, the words of Krishna. Please tolerate me and give your blessings. Hare Krishna. So the soul being engaged in this body, it appears that the soul is changing or dying or taking birth. The soul, this soul, being engaged in this body, appears that soul is changing or dying or taking birth. But birth and death is taking place of the body. The soul is being carried by the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego. Says this soul is engaged in this body, and the soul is changing or dying or taking birth, but the birth and death is taking place of the body. It's not the soul. The change of body is going on every moment, every second. The soul is being carried by the subtle mind, intelligence, ego. So there's a gross body, there's a subtle body. The subtle body is the mind, body, intelligence, ego. Just like in this body, you soul, you have changed so many bodies. You were a child, you were a baby, you were a boy, you were a young man. Now you have got a different body. Similarly, after this body, you will get another body. So Srila Prabhupada explains so nicely in his purport, like we said now, a person is fortified by both Krishna and the spiritual master. We need the blessings of Krishna and spiritual master. Both is required in spiritual life. Like Parikshit Maharaj got the mercy of Krishna within he and spiritual master when he was in the womb of mother. Then when he came out, he met Sukadeva Goswami. So these two things are important in spiritual life. We should always seek the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. So it says Krishna gives you the weapon. So Krishna has given us this instruction, and spiritual master sharpens it, the weapon of knowledge. So spiritual master is sharpening the weapon of knowledge, and that way we can cut free from material bondage. So when we hear it says Krishna is speaking to you, me and the kings and soldiers, they were not acting before or they are not acting after. That means eternally they are all souls. So the body is temporary, we are souls. Then next it says the soul being engaged in the body, it appears that soul is changing or dying or taking birth. But the birth and is taking place of the body. It's not the soul. The soul is carried by the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego. Just like in how this body, your soul, you have changed so many bodies. You were a child, you were a baby, a boy, you were a young man, now you have got a different body. So next it says that of changing body, like the example is given of his childhood body, youth body. So long you will be addicted to material sense enjoyment, you will get a material body. So Krishna doesn't interfere with our free will. He says so long because we want to enjoy separate from Krishna, we got a material body, we see each other, we turn our face, we all have a different physical body. Everyone is totally different. Like that. He says, soul is being carried by the subtle body, mind, intelligence, ego to another body. Just like in your body, the soul, you have changed so many bodies. You were a child, you were a baby, you were a boy, you were a young man. Now you got a different body. So first Krishna says, there was a time that you or not exist. Then further Purport Prabhupada says, the soul is being engaged in the body is changing, but the mind, intelligence is carrying the soul is being carried by the subtle body, mind, and the body. And then next gives the example of a child changing a body. So long you will be addicted to material sense enjoyment, you will get a material body. So long we will think we are this material element. So Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, Prakriti Kriya Manani Gunai Sarvasha Ahankar Vibhudatma Kartamyate. The spirit soul bewildered by this false ego, he thinks him the doer, but actually is not doer. Is acting under the modes of material nature. The Supreme Lord is the controller ultimate. So long you will be addicted to material sense enjoyment, you will get a material body. That you as a soul, you will never be liberated. So long that desires to enjoy in this world, the sense gratification there, you will get a body. Fitness, you get according to the body. But that change of body is not your business. You have to be free from this bondage of material body. He says we have to become free from this bondage. Otherwise we will be getting, again, like Shankaracharya says, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Jatorisai. Yes. Yeah, one is constantly going repeated birth and death according to desires. So fitness, you are according to the body. But the change of body is not your business. You have to become free from this bondage of material body. You have to develop your spiritual body. So that's what Krishna consciousness is all about. We are not this body, we are spirit souls, we are eternal part and parcel of Krishna, like that. And the nature of the soul is spiritual, and the nature of the body is temporary and is full of miseries. The change of body is not you have to become free from the bondage of material body, and you have to develop your spiritual body. Then you will be happy. That is your problem. But if you are engage any type of material body, you will suffer. The suffering is due to the body. So your business is how to get out of the material body. So it's a world of duality. Summer, winter, happiness, distress, young, youth, day, night, hankering, lamenting. Suppose he has gold also, is hankering somebody. How I can save this? If it doesn't, as he's lamenting, oh, don't have, what will happen? Oh, in both win anxiety. Because on the body concept, happiness, distress. The same water, it comes on its own. Whatever happiness is distress, happiness is temporary, and distress also is temporary. It comes on its own. Summer, winter. Same water is pleasing in the summer, winter is not pleasing. We can experience in Chicago. Chicago is a cold, very cold place. And now today's weather is very bad, worse. So coming in contact. But in summer, the same water is pleasing because of the body. So the body is the source of the all suffering. So it says here, change of body is not your business. You have to be free from this bondage of material body. Then you have to develop your spiritual body. Then you will be happy. That is your problem. But if you continue to engage any type of material body, you will suffer. Any type of body, you will suffer. Like Krishna says that whatever activity we get a body according to our activities, either good or bad. Suppose a person is born very beautiful, well knowledge, wealthy, or suppose a person by an impious family, whatever worms, what bad results. So that are bad, but both are temporary. And develop attain eternal blissful life of knowledge. Suppose one is very strong. Suppose one is very healthy, but he cannot remain strong forever. Suppose one is very healthy, he won't remain healthy forever, because this body is the source. It's a repetitive. We have to go the cycle of birth, old age, and disease. If you are forced to die, then what is the value of your strength? Srila Prabhupada says, if you're forced to die, then what is the value of your strength? So we have to become free from this false ego, false conception, the body conception. That's what's Bhagavad Dharma. If the living entity Purusha is working piously, then he's getting a different type of body. Janma Aishwarya Shrutasti. A Brahman's family, a scholar's family, goes on like that. Very good education. The Paramatma Purusha observing the activities of the Jivatma. So the Lord is observing our activities. And according to his karma, he is giving the real, he is the witness. So Krishna is the witness. The example is given two birds. One bird is eating the fruits and one is enjoying. That's we are enjoying the fruits. But we are so engrossed in this material body, we forget. We are enjoying and suffering results of act. But somehow we turn to the Lord, become free from miseries. That's what we say. So he says, according to karma work, he is giving the result. He is the witness. Krishna is the... So according to our activities, we get a particular body. But Krishna is the witness. Another place said, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hrideshi Arjuna Tishti. That Supreme Personal Goddess, Paramatma Antaryami, is situated in everyone's heart. Brahmayam Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudmaya. And he is directing the Maya to give him a particular type of body. So the first example is given, there's two. He says we get a good result of our good activities, we get a particular type of body. The results of impious get a bad body. According to karma, he is given his body. But Krishna is the witness, it says. Then next it says that the Lord as Paramatma is situated in everyone's heart. Like a vehicle is moving because of the driver. And he is directing Maya to give him a particular type of body. So under the direction of material nature, he gets a different type of body, he says. Similarly, according to your karma, good and bad, you are getting a different type of body. There are 8,004,000 species of life. You can get one of them and suffer and enjoy. Tata dehan prapti. You have to change your body. Indian body, American body, serpent body, insect body, aquatic, any form. There is no guarantee. So like we read, suppose when one is very strong, there's no question that he will remain strong forever. Suppose one is very healthy, he will never remain healthy forever. So he says you have to change your body, American body, serpent body, insect body, whatever body. That will be awarded to you according to your karma. Unfortunately, they do not know, just like animals. So, Manushyanam, by elevation you come to this human form of body, and in this human form of body, we have got the chance to develop Krishna consciousness. So there are varieties of body. The cat bodies, there are dog body, they have given them enjoyment. That's already destined. So we have got this human life. It's very human life is very rare. In human life, we can develop Krishna consciousness. Actually, one becomes advanced in knowledge in stated by Bhuvnam Janmante. In due course of time, after many, many births, when he actually comes to the platform knowledge, he can understand Vasudeva is great and I am very small. I am insignificant. Therefore, he surrenders Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sahamatma Sudurlava. So this is a very nice statement. It says, in due course time, after many, many births, when he actually comes to the platform of knowledge, he can understand that Vasudeva is great, I am very small. Like we are in present, suppose 1716 Lunt Avenue, Chicago. Very tiny on this planet. But the false ego is very great, I am great. So even he says, after many, many lives, he says, when one comes to a platform of knowledge, he can understand Krishna is great and I am very small, I am very small. And therefore he surrenders to Vasudeva, Atma. So one has to become free from this bodily conception of name, fame, and he has to surrender to Krishna. Mahatmas, and such a great soul is very rare. This is the sign of knowledge. When one surrenders to Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead, then he has actually attained knowledge. So that is what, unless he says, unless one doesn't surrender, he's in ignorant, he's in the false bodily conception, and that comes after many, many lives. To think of Krishna and ordinary person is not knowledge, it is illusion. So anyone who has taken shelter of Krishna, by the words of Krishna, believing him, Krishna says, Mam ekam sharanam raja, man mana bahumad bhakto madhyaji mam naskuru. So three things, always Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, think of me, worship me and become my devotee and offer obeisance to me, four things. So if we just follow this also, one can attain perfection. Krishna says, just surrender to me, you become my devotee, you always think of me, you become my devotee, you worship me, you offer your obeisance to me. Persons who are in poor fund of knowledge think it is too much, Krishna is demanding too much, it is sophistry. No, that is not sophistry. That is the real position. So that is the real position. It's not Krishna is demanding us this. That is, we have to surrender to Krishna. We should always think of Krishna. We should offer our obeisance to Krishna and worship Krishna. That is the real position of our. If you think as if you are Krishna, that is illusion. Avishya buddhyamana. If you think we are this body, that is a big illusion. That, or we think we are the whole soul and soul. But we want to enjoy it. So Avishya buddhyaman, he says. Because they cannot under Krishna. That knowledge is not perfect or not purified. So it says, and because of that, that knowledge is not perfect or not purified. Knowledge perfect, that every living entity, but it is contaminated by the contact of Maya. So one who understands Krishna and himself is called Mukta. Mukti means knowledge, relationship with Krishna. So this body is made of material elements. Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. It's a source of miseries. So we cannot remain all the time healthy. We cannot remain very in position. This is all temporary. We must suffer. We have to suffer. Nature's law is there. But in foolishly, one thinks, I am the doer. Suppose one is improving his health, then it's not to be always healthy. Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna. Govinda. So Srila Prabhupada says there's different ashramas, grahastha ashrama, brahmacharya ashram, vanaprastha ashram, sannyasa ashram. It says ashrama. So ashrama means Krishna consciousness. Make it ashrama and follow the rules and regulations. That is what. Otherwise, you are bound by the laws of nature. So whatever in ashram we have to become Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, become bound by the laws of nature, our actions. It says the senses are superior to the mind, and superior to the mind is the intelligence, and superior intelligence is the self, like the soul is highest. So unfortunately, we are not interested in taking spiritual. We are interested in technology. That's what it says. So whatever ashram we have to make it is Krishna consciousness. That is otherwise become bound by the laws of nature. So Bhagavad Gita explains very nice about different chapters. It begins from 11. It says, I'll be going to 11 hours because in this chapter especially Balrama is convincing Rukmini in different ways about we are not this body, we are spirit souls. So we are reading from this translation and purport of Bhagavad Gita. It's very interesting. Everybody knows it. Still, for my purification. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. So ye yathamam prapadyanti. So everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. Everybody surrenders directly or indirectly. Everyone is searching of Krishna in different species of way. Krishna is the supreme personal Godhead. Is partially realized in Brahma, Paramatma, and then Bhagavan. So different processes. So this verse says, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows in my path in all respects. Then it says, Kangshanta karmana siddhim. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities. Sorry, I'm going wrong chapter. Chapter 2:11, that's a different. It's different words. Sri Bhagavan. So Supreme Person, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So Krishna is, Arjuna was lamenting, so Krishna is saying, those, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So this comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sanatana Goswami. He was a minister, he was born in a Brahmana family, he was a very highly elevated, educated person. But when he came to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, people call me very learned, but I am a fool, number one. I don't know who am I. I am a spiritual. Similarly, in this verse it says, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for living nor for the dead. So Lord at once took the position of a teacher and chastised the student, calling him inactive fool. You are talking like a learned man, but you not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body, what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. So this one verse which like Balrama was telling to Rukmini that about the soul. Similarly, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, one who is in knowledge, he is not concerned of his body. He doesn't lament for the living or not for the Krishna also further says, never there was a time when I did not exist, nor you, or not all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. So next it says, so those persons who consider Vedic was given, the Vedic was given Arjuna to person to all, who possess themselves very learned, but factually have a poor fund of knowledge. The Lord says clearly that He Himself, Arjuna and all the kings who are assembled on the battlefield are eternally individual beings, and the Lord is eternally the maintainer of the individual living entities, both in their condition and in the liberated states. She says, Arjuna is saying, who are assembled are eternally individual beings, and the Lord is eternally the maintainer of the individual living in both in their condition and in the liberated situation. So Krishna is the maintainer of our living entities. Everything is provided by Krishna. Next verse 13 it says, as the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by a change. So these three verses now it says, first it says, a learned person, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, you are speaking as a very learned person, but you are a fool number one. You are mourning for the body, because Arjuna was lamenting my friends, my family. Those who are wise, lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Then the next word it says, never was at that time I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future. So everyone had a different body, but we are all eternal souls. The body is temporary. And Krishna then further saying, the body, embodied soul continually passes in the body from boyhood to youth to old age. The soul similarly passes to another material body. Every living entity is an individual soul, is changing his body every moment, sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, sometimes as old. Yet the spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. Then the next verse says, O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance in the due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception. So another example is given. The happiness and distress, they are due to this. Example is given like the winter and summer season. They come and go because they come in contact with the touch, sense perception. Like we mentioned about duality, it's a world of duality. Summer, winter, happiness, distress, like that. It's due because to the body. They come and go. And one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So different explanation is there. The time is running, so I would like. But ultimately, we have, it says, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in different ways. Body is temporary. Well, finally, keep all abominable activities by distance by devotional service. In that consciousness, surrender to Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their action are misers, of their work are misers. One who has actually come to understand one's constituted position as an eternal servant of the Lord gives up all engagement save working in Krishna consciousness. So this is what we have to understand. Whatever this in this world, we are actually a devotee means he has no other business. He has only one business, that's to be Krishna consciousness. So this verse says, keep all, O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. One who has actually come to understand one's constitutional position as an eternal servant of the Lord gives up all engagements save working in Krishna consciousness. Such devotional service is the right course of action for the living entities. Only misers desire to enjoy the fruits of their work, just to be further entangled in material bondage. Except for work in Krishna consciousness, all activities are abominable, because they continually bind the worker to the cycle of birth and death. One should therefore never desire to be the cause of work. Everything should be done in Krishna consciousness for the satisfaction of Krishna. Misers do not know how to utilize the assets of riches which they acquire by good fortune or by hard labor. One should spend all energies working in Krishna consciousness, and that will make one's life successful. Like misers, unfortunate persons do not employ their human energy in the service of the Lord. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reaction even in this life. Therefore strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. So these different ways, explanation of the body and the soul. And finally Krishna says one has to be engaged in, because whatever activities we do, good or bad, that's temporary. Because this material body is temporary, soul is eternal. Either one is born in a rich family or a very poor family, or very knowledgeable, very educated, or in a impious insect worms, that's all temporary. If one is very healthy also, it's not guaranteed that he will be ever healthy. Or when wealthy, one is wealthy. So one has to engage in devotional service ultimately. One has to become Krishna conscious, surrender to Krishna. Any comments, any question? One should use all his energy for Krishna. Thank you for staying there and tolerating. Please forgive me any offenses I committed. Yes, any comments, any questions? Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. There's a mic over there. Can someone hand over there? Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
It's being broadcast.
We are, it's too much. Hare Krishna. Yeah. We are not this body. Hare Krishna. Okay. So we are not this body, we are spirit, soul, and the main problem is that we are very much attached to this, our material bodies, and that's why we are keep on getting bodies. So theoretically, Prabhu, it's so nice, and logically also Bhagavad Gita teaches explains all these terms, right? But one problem sometimes I feel that it's very difficult to get into that realization that we are not this body. Like as soon as I touch a fire, I will get burnt out, right? Yeah. Immediately, it doesn't. I know that I'm not this body. It's my body which is getting that pain. But how Prabhu, we can go more, and that understanding that we are not this body. It's that reaches that realization, right? Realization is very difficult.
Yeah, one is theoretical, one is practical.
Yeah,
like Krishna says, "Bahunam janmante jnanavan mam prapadyanti vasudeva sarvamiti samatma." After many births, he comes to knowledge that Krishna is the Lord, and he surrenders unto Krishna. But the illusion makes up straps up. In this, we identify the body, because many lives we have gone through this cycle, repeated. Punar charvita charvanam, chewing the chew. So the bodily conception is very strong, 99.9.9 on this body. But it's by the mercy of self-realized souls, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upagdikshanti jnanas jnaninas tattvadarshina. One who has seen the truth. Suppose a man is, if you want to learn some mechanic, you have to go to a person who is perfect. So one who is perfect in spiritual life, you approach such a person and surrender to him and render service to him, and he can. But it needs a lot of sukruti, we have a strong determination. Surrender is our sincerity and seriousness, how we take to Krishna consciousness, because Krishna is within our heart. He fulfills what we want most, what's our strong desire.
So Prabhu, we can say, like as you said in the lecture, Krishna is giving the weapon and our spiritual master is sharpening that.
Correct.
So similarly, by the mercy of spiritual master, we can come out of this of the understanding that we are not this body.
Illusion, yeah.
Of the illusion. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Okay, Srimad Bhagavad Puran ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna.